Good evening, everybody. Uneducated economist. It's nighttime. I had to come out here. I just got off of work. I'm using the light of my truck to make the video, but I had to give a great big giant thank you to Mike Martins. Today, Mike took time out of his day to make a video called Uneducated Economist where he could promote my video to all his subscribers. Thank you, sir. You would not believe on how touching that was that you did that for me. And you know, what I think touches me the most is that you find the information valuable enough that you would share it with your subscribers, and that right there says a lot. And I really want to return the favor, so I encourage everybody who is watching the video, if you're not already subscribed to Mike Martins' channel, please head on over to Mike Martins and subscribe to his channel, check out his videos, and give him all a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And Mike, you and I will have a conversation soon. I will be getting in contact with you, sir. But I thought since I'm out here, I'm going to go ahead and bring you some good stuff. I had a guy come to me the other day and he says, dude, you are so negative on the economy and the housing market. He says, don't you have anything positive to say? And I thought about it for a second. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I am pretty negative on the economy and the housing market. I mean, it is what I see, and I do have a contrarian view of the economy. So yeah, I mean, I guess I do come off pretty negative as far as the economy goes. And so I got to thinking, I was like, well, is there positive news going on out there right now? And so I can honestly say that the lead salesman at the place that I work right now really has a positive outlook for the houses that are coming up here in the future that he has set to get to rolling. Now, they're waiting for nicer weather, right? Because it's really raining, it's nasty, and nobody really wants to frame a house up when it's blowing 70 miles an hour outside, right? So, you know, these houses are going to take place here in a couple of months. Now, that is, you know, a lot can change in a couple of months, but you know, as far as his outlook, as far as future works and houses and stuff, he's like, man, I'm pretty positive as far as what we have lined up here. You know, and he's not the only one. We got a couple of different salesmen who are reading these prints. And there's another one who has, you know, he's got a few, not as many as the first one, but he's got a few houses set up too that are all going to be taking place here in the future. So just coming from like my personal standpoint, what I see kind of happening out of my little area is that there is still, you know, a lot of advancement happening inside of the housing market. And then on top of it, lumber prices are dropping significantly, guys, right? And I mean like a huge amount. So 2x4 eighths, right? $4.29 is what they've been retailing for all summer long. Right now, we have them listed at $2.89 a piece. That is like a 30% drop, guys, 25-30%. That is a huge amount. And if you think about it, how many studs go into a house? You know, it's like all the walls, all the, all the skeleton of the entire house. And then you got the sheathing that goes on top of it. And this is like the skin that goes around the outside of the framing. And that's down from $25.50 a sheet down to $19.50 a sheet. So like framing lumber has dropped dramatically, guys. I mean, like a huge amount. So if you're looking for positive news when it comes to like builders and framers, you know, that is a huge plus, right? Because now they're going to be able to bid out jobs for far less than than they were bidding them out before, because the material has dropped so dramatically much, right? And this is going to encourage people who are looking to build houses to get into it. So yeah, you know, we got to keep an eye on other building products, but definitely when it comes to plywood, the CDX, the skin that goes on the outside of the plywood, and those studs, they are dropping, and they're dropping dramatically, guys. So that is really positive news when it comes to the housing market. On top of that, there's a couple of different stocks that I looked at. Now, one of them is a decking company, right? And they do composite decking. And now anybody who knows what a composite decking is, it's like plastic decking, okay? And it's, you know, generally used more on the higher end homes, or say, you know, places that where this is going to be your house that you're going to live in for the rest of your life. Not typically for rentals, and not so much like, you know, for like just fixing and repairs. That's usually used like a 2x6 outdoor treated wood, something like that. That's going to be far less than your composite decking. So the composite decking is more of like the higher end decking that you would buy. And this is the chart on it. And I'm sorry, I ripped the top off. I don't want to give the names out because I don't give stock information. I'm not a stock guy. There's other channels out there who can take you, you know, on a whole better, you know, lead on stocks than I can. I'm just here to try and show you some information. And this is what I got here. And if you look, I'm going to try and do this in the dark here, but this is the decking company. If you see this line that I drew here, this is the trend line, right? And you see that we bounced off that trend line all the way up until we boom, right? And this is the big housing boom that we just experienced. Now you see we haven't busted that trend line yet. We're coming down. We're about ready to touch it. Now, if we bounce off that trend line and those interest rates that the Fed was talking about stay low, this may continue the housing market on, and this composite decking company may prove that. We have to watch. If they bust that trend line, that's a whole nother story. But if they come down and touch it and then start taking off again, and the interest rates stay low and people start taking out these loans again, we may see another run in the housing market. So, and here's another one, kind of the same story, right? And now what these guys do, these are a metal bracket company, right? These guys make all the little metal brackets that you would use to put all the lumber together in a house. And they're a pretty popular company, so if I said the name, you'd probably recognize it right away. But anyway, they kind of have the same story. This is 5-year charts, guys, both of them. And now if you look, we bounced off the trend line a couple of times here and we followed it. Now we're about ready to come down and touch that trend line again. And if we land on that trend line, and the interest rates stay low and we start bouncing on that trend line and continuing up, that's a good sign for the housing market. That may mean that the housing market is going to continue. Now, when the Fed comes out and gives this announcement on whether or not they're going to give interest rates, and those interest rates start to rise and those stocks bust those trend lines, that's another story. All right. Thank you, Mike Martins. You are the man.